quick, another thing I was going to tell you is, of course, Brother Denny, his mom passed away yesterday. So, not that it's the same, but, as I was going through this lesson today, I'm thinking, boy, there's some similarities there, of a person going through hard times. Okay, so as we look at our lesson, I've tried to do it a little different today. There's 25 slides. We're going to quickly go through it. I tried to make each slide a little larger so at least we can kind of be on the same page. Okay, so we look at Job 1:1, and Dennis and I were talking last week. I wasn't aware of us going, Jenny and I were talking this morning about us going from Genesis, boom, to Job. But we have. That was kind of a curveball. As we look at Job 1:1, and I'll read 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And number 1 says, there was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared God and eschewed evil. Talk about that momentarily. And there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. Verse 3 says, and his substance also was 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, 500 she-asses, and a very great household. Hold that. So that this man was the greatest of all men of the east. Verse 4, and his sons went and feasted in their houses every one his day, and sent and called for the 3 sisters to eat and to drink with them. And then finally on verse 5 we say, and it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about, that Job sent and sanctified them, and rose up early in the morning and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, it may be that my sons have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. Thus did Job continually. Now, a little bit of commentary on that. Notice, if you will, in verse 1, some of the things that a lot of times people are not real sure about. Perfect. Never sinned. Never did anything wrong. No. Maturity. Completeness. Integrity. Okay? Now, think about that today. And we hear that a lot, and in the Bible you see, he's perfect, not sinless, but he's mature. He's complete. He has integrity. That word fear, it's not dread. It said he feared the Lord. Yeah, it's not the dreaded fear. Okay? What is it? Divine respect. Divine respect. Okay? Hatred of evil. Eschewed. Eschewed. What in the world is that? Avoid evildoers, the appearance of evil. Okay, now, you think about that one right there, that one alone, the appearance of evil. Guys, there have been so many times, and I know in the court of law you don't do this. I've heard, grandparents and many, many years ago say, well, that little boy, they said he wasn't guilty, but he should have been convicted because I know he's done something somewhere along the line that he should be guilty. It's like, yeah, but it don't work that way. But point being, well, he shouldn't have been there in the first place. That's what he was in the situation of. I'm not going there if I think there's a problem or an issue. Did you notice that about him saying he'd been blessed with a family? Been blessed from it? In the Bible, when you look at that, it's seen as a blessing from God. A big family. The children were kind to each other, which tells us a lot about parenting today. He was involved in parenting. Okay, he wasn't, you got a problem, here you go. Go sell a couple of them mules and get you some money and go do what you need to do. He didn't do that. But he addressed the issue. Verse 3 said he was wealthy. Guys, believe it or not, there was no FDIC. Chase Morgan had not come along at that time. It wasn't about a bank account. What was it based on? Wealth was based on the amount of animals. Number in your herd. Okay, he had a boatload of those, right? Watch this. Large amounts of servants. Now, one thing I want to tell you about real quick about that is guys, he was wealthy. He had a large family. But he knew where it came from. Okay? He knew where it came from. One more time. He knew where that had come from. There's so many athletes today. There's so many politicians, entertainers, right on down the line today. I did this. Well, I was able to do this. I did that. No, you don't do that. He knew where it had come from. Guys, if they, regardless of what's in life, it's the blessings come from God. Okay? Very important to understand it. Verse 4 says, Job was concerned for his children. Job wanted his children to be right with God. And it says that Job offered sacrifices for his children just in case they didn't. Now he's concerned about these things. Okay, he's concerned about his family. Let's review. He's got a tremendous family. He has wealth. He's probably got more animals, 500, 350. He got more animals than he can count. Good heavens. He's a wealthy man. Above all, he's a righteous man. Okay? Now, I think that, Jeannie, don't we on the next one? I think we go to the next verses, right? Yeah, okay. So before we go there, any comments about that? Because we're setting up a situation that's really, I think, really important. But you look at, man, this guy's just really got it made. Guys, he's living the dream life. Okay? He's living the dream life. This is great. Money, wealth, prosperity, everything's going good. Okay? And, not that I know exactly how it feels. I have no idea how the man feels, but I know this. He had a lot of money, and he had a lot of good things. These are great. But most important, he was right with God. Above all. Okay? And so many times, guys, in our society today, where does that rank? He's right with the Lord. Oh, well, that's nice. But we want to know about money. We want to know power, prestige. Those are the things that people look at today, which is so far backwards. Comments? Absolutely. Absolutely. Poor. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. You're not kidding. And there would be a large difference in the way that many of those two would do things. You know, uh, that is such a good point. But you hear people say that all the time. He's got to be doing something right. Look at all these things he's got here. Now I know that he did this individual wrong and that individual wrong, and he got to be doing something right. Guys, that's not the case. You know, one of the things that I kept coming back to on this story here was in Psalms, and I'm paraphrasing, where it says, we don't know what the run of a day brings about. And we don't. Okay? So what you're about to see is, here's a righteous man. Everything's good. It's great. It's wonderful. You know the story. But what he's about to go through, okay? Notice some of these things. Verse 13, and I'll go straight through 19 on this one. Job 1, verse 13 says, and there was a day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And there came a messenger unto Job and said, the oxen's plowing and the asses feeding beside them. And the Sabaeans fell upon them and took them away. Yea, they have slain the servants with the edge of the sword. And I only am escaped alone to tell you this. That's terrible. Yep. Messengers came. That's horrible. Okay, next. While he's yet speaking, this other fellow telling him about this. Here we go. There came also another one and said, the fire of God is fallen from heaven and hath burned up the sheep and the servants and consumed them, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. Oh, okay. He's trying to take all this in. While he was yet speaking, what? Another? Watch. While he was yet speaking, now this other fellow's just told him that. Well, he's listening. This other fellow comes up. Now he is still speaking. This other fellow comes up. Yet speaking, there came also another and said, the Chaldeans made out 3 bands and fell upon the camels and have carried them away. Yea, and slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. Okay. While he was yet speaking, here we go again, there also came another and said, thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in the eldest brother's house. And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness and smote the 4 corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they are dead, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. Wow. Okay? Real quick. Unknowing to Job what was occurring and what was happening. Well, Satan wanted a righteous man to tempt, to corrupt, and to ruin. Okay? So, what does he do? Goes and talks to God about it. He accused God of buying Job. How's that? Hey, I can guarantee you one thing. You didn't bless Job, he would serve you. I guarantee you. If you stopped right now with your blessings, Job ain't going to serve you. I guarantee you he won't. God said he's a righteous man. Yeah, he won't do it. He told God if his blessings stopped, Job would curse God and abandon his faith. He would curse God and abandon his faith. Think about that a second. God allowed Satan to take the physical blessings, but not his life. Okay, now I'm going to get to a question in a minute. As we just said, messenger after messenger began to arrive at Job's house. Okay? Now after the first one, I'm pretty much done. Now this other fella comes up. He's got a story that's equally as bad. Then another fella comes up. Then his kids. Okay? All in one day, all of Job's animals and his children were killed. Okay, now guys, what's important to know here? You know, this is not a fantasy story. You know, that many years ago, all of that it's made up, and this happened. Now, just like we're living here today, this happened. Now, Job was in a situation where his wealth, his family, and everything is gone in one day's time. One day, yesterday, wealthy, happy, lots of people. Everybody's around it. They all get along. They're all happy. Now, all of a sudden, things change. It's gone. What do I do? Notice, if you will. Go to that next one, Jeannie. Did Job do anything wrong? Did his family do anything wrong? Yeah, he had to do something. I guarantee you. He did something wrong. No. When something goes wrong in our lives, do we look for a cause? Do we? I guarantee. What in the world have I done wrong now? You know, what have I done? I've done something bad. I don't know what. Okay? That's what we start looking for. Now, one of the things, guys, I want you to think about, good things happen to good people. I told y'all last week before last, Wayne Moody used to tell me when I was a kid, a saved man's washing machine's going to run over just like a lost man's. You know, it's not like the Lord's going to say, that's not going to happen to you. Yes, you've got this all messed up. You hadn't taken care of it, blah, blah. Well, I'm not going to let yours wash over. It's going to happen, guys. It's going to happen. Now, why does it happen? We're in a world of sin, guys. How many times have you heard people say, I just don't understand why God would allow some of those things to take place to those people. It does. It's just a shame. Okay, what do you think that was? I just don't know. Friend, we're in a world of sin. We're in a world of sin. And these things are going to happen. But as we've been told so many times, these are problems we go through. Okay? But God is in control. God is in control. God is in control. I had a lady tell me yesterday, she said, I don't know who's going to win the election, and I don't care, but I know this. I'm scared. How come? I just am. How come? I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. That's right. Okay, so what difference does it really make if God's in control? What difference does it make? Do you think God said, okay, now who won? Okay, I'm out of here. You're on your own. You think he's going to do that? No. He's in control, right? Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't do the things. We put forth our effort, blah, 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 blah. Ben Carson said, 4 years ago, when they were running? He said, guys, let me tell you something. America needs to kind of reevaluate their scope. America's looking for a man or woman to lead them to prosperity. That's the last person you ought to look for. It needs to be Jesus Christ. And it's like, did he just say that? Because that's pretty good. Heard another lady tell me not long ago, and it's not my daughter, and it's not Bethany, both being nurses. I heard a nurse tell me not long ago, she knew a doctor. He was a very successful Christian surgeon. He made the comment one time. He said, well, Doc, we want you to get this. You're the best. We want you to help save her life, blah, 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 blah. And he said, wait, stop. Listen to me. Ma'am, listen. I'm an instrument in God's hands. That's all I am. And they're like, okay. And he said, if you want to help me, you go before Almighty God and pray. Ask him for guidance, direction, intervention, all these type of things. I can tell you right now, I can't save your life. He does. I'm the instrument, which is really a powerful, powerful thought. Now, real quick, sorry. Remember that God has a plan. He's in control. We know that. Our ways are not his ways. I don't know why the Lord did that. Yeah, it's a good thing he didn't. How many times have I said that? Something bad happened. I've been praying for this. It hadn't happened. I don't know. God didn't give it to me. That's fine. He's mad at me. No, he's not. Because I later found out, Lord, thank you for not giving that to me. Thank you for letting me go through this. Is it pleasant when I go through bad times? No. But God gets glory. He gets honor. He gets praise. Guys, that's where we are. Now look, we have problems. Every one of us, we have issues, we have concerns. God's with us. He is with us. His grace is sufficient. There have been times I've doubted that. No. But it's probably better to say I didn't focus on it as much. God's grace is sufficient. God's grace is sufficient. He's in control. He's in control. I told this story last week, I think. Oh, it was my colleague at the college. We were talking about this. Franklin Neal told me years ago, gosh, I was a little bitty kid. And he could tell I was worried about something. He said, what are you worried about? Well, it was something big, like, I might not get to play the whole game, something really important. And Franklin began talking to me, and he made the comment, he said, let me tell you something that might help you. He said, my mother, Mrs. Bonner, that was a member of this church for years, she would get bothered by something, okay, which she normally wasn't bothered by things because she always put it in the Lord's hands. But if she got really bothered by things, he said she would go sit down and pray and totally, completely put it in God's hands. And he said she had so much faith that God would take care of it, she literally forgot about it when he told me that, I'm thinking, boy, am I lacking in faith. Yeah, I was. That's a great testimony. That's a great testimony. Oh, by the way, we can talk about heart disease. We can talk about anything you want in this world today. A heart disease, number one killer. That's right behind the heart attacks. Cancer, lung cancer, all these things. Every one of these things, guys, are a symptom of stress. Every one of them. I think I told you this before. My grandmother, many years ago, she was, her health was declining. She fell victim to early stages of dementia, all these type of things, and she began to slowly go down. Health got better and better and better. And everybody's like, why did her health get better? She was worried about nothing. She was worried about nothing. Guys, stress drives the boat in her life. How do you handle it? How did Job handle it? Well, he went and saw a psychiatrist. Sure did. Yeah. No, he didn't. What did he do? What did he do? We'll see momentarily. How would you handle this situation? I think that's it, isn't it, Jeannie? Okay, how would you handle it? Do we have time? Ooh, we're getting close. Yeah, we got time. Go ahead. How do you handle the situation? Or do we? Yes. Yes. Say it again. Go to God. What were you going to say, Dennis? Yeah. They're going to clean the house. That's right. That's right. No. That's exactly right. Absolutely. When you said that, there have been many times where I've thought, if a problem comes up, what I do, I put it in God's hands. And I do. Okay? I'm going to do that. Go, Bethany. Excellent. Excellent point. God, do you know who I am? What's going on here? You need to change this. Excellent point. Excellent point. Yeah, you go in with that attitude, there's going to be a problem. You're right. Good point. Guys, it's important, no matter what we go through, that we see God's hand. I know there have been times where I would say, I've got a problem. I'll put it in God's hands. When that problem comes up, I do put it in God's hands for a few minutes. And thank you, Lord, I know you're good, but you wait, I got this one. Yeah. Okay? Now, that's not what he said, right? You give it to him. And you walk away. Where's your faith? Where's your faith? Very important. Okay, Job 20 and 21. Then Job arose, rent his mantle. I think it was to Walmart where he rented it to them just for a day. And shaved his head, fell down upon the ground, and worshipped, and said, naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord gave, the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. I want to come back to that very quickly. 22, in all of this Job sinned not, nor charged God foolishly. Wow. Next one, Jenny, I think yes. So now we skip to the second. And I know that the lesson kind of skips over a few things, but we kind of hit on that. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord, smote Job with sores from the soles of his feet unto his crown, and he took a potsherd to scrape himself withal, and he sat down among the ashes. And then he said then said his wife unto him, here we go, doth thou still retain thy integrity? Curse God, die, let it be. But he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What? Shall we receive good at the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil? In all of this, did not Job sin with his lips? Amazing. Amazing. Job had no idea what was going on. Okay? Because you and I a lot of times don't know what's going on. We don't know. Important to remember, Satan can only work within the permissive will of God, which there's a lot to that. Point being, he can't get our soul. He can't take care of us. There's things he can put before us to influence. Notice what Job did. He mourned and he worshiped. God knew he was going to mourn. God knew that. Okay? He worshiped. Now watch this. Here's the mantle thing. Tearing his clothes off, shaving his head. Those were ancient rituals, tradition, you know. Next, Virginia, there's something else I wanted to, oh yeah. Notice Job's reaction. Really good. Well, I think it is. We came into the world with nothing, we'll leave with nothing. There's what Bethany's talking about. Or, I think. It's that attitude. God, God don't owe me nothing. You know, I mean, and when I say that, I'm talking about possessions and things. Guys, if we got what we deserved, you know, we wouldn't be alive. But if we were alive, we'd be under a bridge, right? Probably wouldn't even be around because our life would be so short because of health issues and you couldn't take care of yourself, the whole 9 yards. Note here it says, next Satan was allowed to afflict Job physically, and he became ill, sores on his body, lost weight, the skin turned black. Friends came, did not recognize him, and then here comes his wife. She thought it was terminally ill and strongly advised him, just roll over ace deuce. Here we go. You know, I mean, pull the plug, brother. That's encouragement. Okay, now, latter part of that says, Job's wife was miserable. She was. Let's review. Like Job, in one day they lost it all. With all his misery, health issues, financial losses, family losses, he never cursed God, never lost the fear and love of God. Never. Never. Why? He could not deny what he believed. Now we have a few minutes left, not much. Guys, think about that. I came into this world with nothing. I'm going to leave with nothing. You know, as the man used to tell me many years ago I used to work with TXU, he knew, he had chauffeured for so many wealthy people in this area, and he said, there's no buggy behind the casket with all the money. It's all left behind. Okay, and that's true. Now, he knew right off the bat, I didn't come here with anything. I'm not leaving with anything. You know, it's God's to take. It's God's to give. I'm thankful for the time I had it. This is terrible. This is awful. We'll see next week. Brother Dennis starts talking about his friends. Good friends. And you'll see other things that occur. Okay. You got the lesson of anything. We got, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes. Yeah, right. Yeah. Right. Just that. Right. Okay, now. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay. Do you think that's what Satan wanted? For him to die? I mean, do you think Satan wanted her to encourage him to just kill himself? Look how you got rewarded. Very good. Yeah, and you're serving him? Absolutely. Okay, last point. And your point that you just made is very good. Now, guys, it's important that you keep this lesson in your mind as you go forward, because remaining true to God is a phenomenal blessing, as you will notice. And we've seen and we've talked about so many times before, Chick-fil-A and all these others, it says won't do that. Thank you. No, we won't open on Sundays. Well, you can make X number. Great. We won't do it. Okay, people are coming in. I'm not going. I'll just dismiss this as it is right now. Guys, thank y'all.